Hello my dear students, welcome to the class of 11th English Medium. The subject is Statistics, Chapter 3, Measures of Central Tendency, brought to you by Vitan Sir. In my previous video, I completed the illustrations 25 and 26, which were based on the calculation of quartile, decile and percentiles. Now in this video, I am going to move forward with the remaining two illustrations before the exercise 3.4. So let us start with illustration 27. We have the following information from a survey of 100 customers of a bank on their number of visits to bank during a month. Now what we are supposed to do is calculate the first quartile, fourth decile and 95th percentile. The data is represented using a table. Number of visits are X, number of customers are F. This is a discrete data, that means 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. The number of customers are 12, 22, 20, 40, 15, 6, 4 and 1. What we always do is whenever we have a frequency distribution, we convert those frequencies into the cumulative frequencies. That would be 12 plus 22 34 plus 40 74 plus 15 89 plus 6 95 plus 4 99 and 1 100. Now moving on with our question, starting with the very first quartile, that is quartile Q1. What we use is, because it's a discrete data, we just need to find the value of 100 plus 1 upon 4th observation. Now 100 plus 1 is 101 upon 4 is 25.25th observation. As you can see here, 25.25th observation falls under the CF 34. So that CF is 34 and the observation, the value of X in front of 34 is 1. So the value of first quartile will be 1. If you don't write this, your answer is incomplete. You can't stop at CF. You need to write down the answer perfectly. Then we have to calculate the fourth decile, that is decile D4. The value of 4 multiplied by 100 plus 1 upon 10th observation. As you can see, because it's a decile, we have to divide by 10. And because it's fourth decile, we multiplied with the 4. The value of 40.4th observation, that is 100 plus 1 into 4 divided by 100 is 40.4th. Now as you can see, the 40.4th observation will be a part of the CF 74 and the observation in front of CF 74 is 2. So fourth decile is 2, that is D4 will be 2. Then we are supposed to calculate the percentile, that is percentile 95th percentile P95. So we will write the value of 95 multiplied by 100 plus 1 divided by 100th observation. It's a percentile, so divided by 100, it is 95th, so multiplied by 95. When we solve this, we get 95.95th observation. Now the thing is that the 95.95th observation lies between the 95th observation and the 96th observation. And we are in a pinch here because 95th observation and the 96th observations don't belong to the same answer. That is 95th observation is 4 while 96th observation is 5. In the usual, in the previous question, both the observations belong to the same value. Right now 95 belongs to 4 while 96 belong to 5. If you have a doubt, just go to the previous, go to the table and check it out yourself. That 95 CF is in the 4 while 96 CF goes to the 5. So we need to use that formula of 95th observation plus 0.95 into bracket 96th observation minus 95th observation. Now 95th is 4 while 96th is 5. Just put the value 4 plus 0.95 into 5 minus 4, that is 4 plus 0.95 into 1, that is 4 plus 0.95, and the answer is 4.95. That means the 95th percentile P95 will be 4.95. I hope you guys got it properly. Whenever there is a clash of such observations that our value of dash observation comes between two such observations which has different values rather than the same value, then we have to follow this formula. We don't have to always follow the same formula. Moving on to illustration 28, the following table shows the data about monthly traveling expenses in rupees in a sample of 50 local bus commuters. That means the people who regularly go to bus. Question number 1, find limits for the expenses of the central 50% of the commuters. I will be explaining this thing in detail. Just read the question right now. Find the minimum expense of the highest spending 50% commuters and find the maximum expense of the lowest spending 10% commuters. The data table is given: monthly expenses, number of commuters. The expenses are given in classes 350 to 500, 500 to 650, up to 950 and above. The frequency is 7, 13, 16, 9 and 5, and then we have the cumulative frequency, which we always have to calculate: 7 plus 1320 plus 1636 plus 945 plus 550. That means total number of commuters are 50, which was already given in the question. We will start with the first question, that we have to find the limits for the expenses of the central 50% of the commuters. Okay, let's just assume that our data is divided into 100 percentages. Then these is the line which shows data from 0 to 100%. And when we talk about the central 50%, these two lines depict them. That means these two lines show where exactly the central 50% of the data remains. So we have a left line and the right line. Now just tell me, if the data is 100% and I take out the central 50%, then there will be a part on the left and there will be a part on the right. So the left part will be 20%, I will name it Q1, and the right part will also be 20%, 25%, I will name it Q3. That means the middle 50% of the data lies between Q1 and Q3. Now obviously Q1 to Q2 the middle data is 25% and Q2 to Q3 is also 25%. So when we find the distance from Q1 to Q3, it is 50%. So what we are actually supposed to calculate here is first quartile and the third quartile, and those will be the limits of the central 50% of the commuters. So let's start with Q1 and Q3. First, I will be calculating the first quartile, and because these are the continuous distributions with classes, first quartile class I will have to calculate. Now first quartile means n upon 4, because it's a continuous distribution, n plus 1 is not there, just n we have to take. N is 50, so 50 upon 4, which would be 12.5th observation. Now from the table, 12.5th observation lies in the class 500 to 650. Now we have to start with lower limit point, the frequency, the cumulative frequency prior to the quartile class, and the class length. So that would be 500, frequency is 13, the CF before this class is 7, and the class length is 150. And our formula of Q1 is L plus N upon 4 minus CF upon F into C. The L is 500, 12.5 minus 7 divided by 13 into 150. Now when I solve this 12.5 minus 7 upon 13 into 150, I get 63.46. That is, Q1 will be 563.46 rupees. So the first quartile value is 563.46 rupees. Let's calculate the third quartile now. So the third quartile class will be class of 3n upon 4, because it's the third quartile, so multiplied by 3. Class of 3 into 50 upon 4th observation, which will give us 37.5th observation. Now 37.5th observation naturally lies in the class 800 to 950. So the lower limit point will be 800, and the frequency 9, cumulative frequency 36, and the CF class length 150. Putting it in the equation of Q3, we will put the values 800 plus 37.5 minus 36 upon 9 into 150. When we solve this value, we get 800 plus 25 exact. Very good. So our third quartile will be 825 rupees. That means the middle 50% observations has a lower limit of Q1, upper limit of Q3. That means that the expense of the middle 50% commuters will be between 563.46 rupees and 825 rupees. So that is how we solve this particular kind of a question, where middle 50% observations are asked. At that time we can take Q1 and Q3. Now if there are something else asked, we can follow the same method. Rather than taking quartiles, we can take deciles or percentiles, but I will explain them in the later questions. That was the first question. Now the second sub question: find the minimum expense of the highest spending 50% commuters. Now as just imagine that data line in your brains and tell me which side has the higher value, left or right. Yes, right side has the higher value, and I need to calculate 15% from the right side. So it will be something like this. That means this is the data line and I am calculating 15% from the right side because that's the highest value. So where does the line remain? So this line distributes our data into 15% and 85%. So this line rests at the 85% mark, which I will calculate using the percentile value, that is P85. Now if you have a question, why did I use percentile? Median is just a middle value, which is just 50%. Quartiles are just 25, 50 and 75%, and deciles can only be used for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 and 90 percentages. So what should I do when there is 85% or 89% or 47%? Percentiles, because percentiles are from 1 to 99. So here I need to calculate the 85% value. The highest spending 15% commuters, their line falls at 85% value, so I will be using percentile 85. So I am calculating the value for 85th percentile. So the class for 85th percentile will be 85n divided by 100. N is 50, so 85 into 50 upon 100 will give you the answer 42.5th observation. Surprisingly not that big. So 42.5th observation will lie in the class 800 to 950. So lower limit point is 800, frequency 9, CF 36 and class length 150. But the formula will be P85. It is L plus 85n upon 100 minus CF upon F into C. Putting the value 800 plus 42.5 minus 36 upon 9 into 150. And when you solve this, you get 800 plus 108.33. So the 908.33 rupees is the answer for 85th percentile. But to write it down properly according to the question, the minimum expense of highest spending 15% commuters will be 908.33 rupees. Okay guys, I hope you guys got this properly. Whenever you are in a pinch, just draw this data line, put your mark on the data line and you will understand which measure is to be used. Moving on to the last sub question of the illustration. Third one, find the maximum expense of the lowest spending 10% commuters. Now here the commuters are the lowest spending. Lowest means the line will be drawn on the left side of the data line, something like this. And we are calculating the 10% commuters, so lowest 10% will be 10% from the left side. So the remaining values are 90%. But because our data line grows from 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, this first 10% mark will be depicted using the decile 1. As I just explained, that if it's a quartile, 25, 50, 75, and if it's a decile, then 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 and 90. Because 10% mark is there, we can use the first decile to find the value. If you want, you can use the 10th percentile here, it will give you the same answer, but I am going with the decile to, give a variation to our answers. Starting with the first decile class of n upon 10th observation, because it's just the first decile multiplied by 1 divided by, because it's a decile, divided by 10. Class of 50 upon 10th observation, giving us the class of 5th observation, so small. So 5th observation lies in the very first class, that is 350 to 500, and lower limit point 350, frequency 7, CF 0 Why have I taken CF 0? Because as you can see, this is the very first class. So there is no CF before this. That's why I'm taking it as 0. Because this is the very first class, the CF of the class before this will obviously will be 0. So CF is to be taken as 0. Class length obviously 150. Putting it in the equation here, 350 plus 5 minus 0.7 into 150. Solving this, you will get 350 plus 107.14. Adding them up, you will get your answer 457.14 rupees. That means the maximum expense of the lowest spending 10% commuters will be 457.14 rupees. So I hope you guys got this properly. This time I am just ending my tutorial here. These were just two illustrations, but they were quite big. Next time I will be trying with the exercise 3.4. We have completed arithmetic mean, the weighted mean, the geometric mean, the combined mean, median, quartile, decile, percentile. So we will be calculating those 4 positional averages. Those are median, quartile, decile and percentiles in the exercise 3.4. Stay tuned for my that tutorial and see you soon. Welcome students to Vitan's Unacount Academy. That's better way to success for you. I am Vitan Vora and I teach accountancy, statistics and social science. You can contact me on my cell number 919426310184. Please give a sub to my channel and also check out my other video playlist which you can see on the screen. Thank you and I will see you in the next video.